contract, which is the finishes contract, is 35% complete, and it will be done sometime in 16. Its value is $325 million. Awarded, okay. Sorry. That's okay. Awarded in 12, and it's going to be finished in 16, as I told you. If you were to go down there now, this is what you'd see. This is actually the mezzanine concrete being placed. We're actually also placing the roof concrete, so we're almost up to the street surface. Once that roof goes on, we'll restore the utilities, put the street back where it's supposed to be, and get out of your lives. But we're going to stick around for at least another year. Ultimately, this is what the entrance at 95th Street will look like. Next. And this is what the artwork looks like, your elevators, escalators. This is how the vision you will see as you go down into the station. So this is what you've been waiting for. 86th Street Station, again, the mining and lining is almost complete. It's 86% complete. But the finishes, the MEP, has really just started, and the contractor was just allowed to start his operation at the beginning of the month. And he's starting down there now in the southern portion of the station. And even though it's just a little contract, it's only $208 million worth of work. And it will be also completed in 2016. Next. The muck houses came down. If you walk down 86, which you will do hopefully later today, you'll see a big improvement in the streetscape because we were able to remove all the muck and take down the muck houses since they're no longer needed to control our blasting and our excavation. Blasting was complete for the entire project in November of 13. As I said, the muck houses came down, and the finish contractor really just started, as I say. The heavy civil contract does the excavation and the outside lining, which includes the floor, the walls, and the arch, which is the roof section. And as you can see, it's almost complete. It's 92% complete. The arch itself, which is the ceiling, is almost complete, 71%. And if you go down there on these community tours, it's really an impressive site. It's a big place. This is entrance 1, the northeast corner of 83rd Street and 2nd Avenue. This is where we went into the building and actually underpinned the building, transferred the loads, excavated down to the chamber. This is where the escalators will go so you can get in. We call this our entrance 1. We have a joke, we don't want any more entrance 1s since they've all been problematic. This is what it will look like when we're all finished. Again, you'll go in here, down the escalators, and down into the cavern. Okay, next. 72nd Street, again, the muck houses are gone, heavy civil work is done, and the finishes contract is actually about 17% done, and the finishes for that contract are a mere $258 million. Everything here is lots of zeros after it. We will be completed down there in 2015. 86th Street will probably be one of the last things we do, only because it's in the middle and we have to wait to get that work done. Next. This is, if you go down into the cavern, the arch is the top of the photograph. The mezzanine is being cast where you walk down before you get down to the platforms. And this station, that shot there shows you about 1,000 foot of cavern that was excavated and concreted. It's quite an impressive site. The mezzanine is 60% done now. This will be what entrance 1 at 72nd Street looks like. This is another in-building entrance where we have to go in, shoot out the rock, concrete down the incline, and then make the connections for the escalators here. And this one is also a challenge, working under people's buildings as, you know, limited amount of time, lots of work to be done. So these are some of the last things we do, and they're one of our biggest challenges. Next. The 63rd Street station, as you know, this was built way back. The south side of it is being used by the F line. We've basically gone into the north side and brought the two tunnels, one up in the upper level, one in the lower level. We've changed the entrances, put in new escalators, reconfigured most of the ceiling and all of the MEP, all the supply lines, anything that makes it work. So when we're finished here, both the F line and the new 2nd Avenue line will be working in the same station, and it will look brand new. Again, F line on the south side, Q line on the north side, and this was an interesting challenge to work in an active subway station at the same time we're doing all our work and the trains are running right next to us. Entrance 1, another entrance 1 on, this is 63rd Street to 200 East 63rd Street. This work, the excavation is underway, and it is, we had to basically underpin this entire building, shift the load of the entire building to a new foundation so we could cut out the old foundation and work down. A tremendous bit of engineering to get this one done. Next. And this is what it will look like when we're finished. Each one of the stations, as you've seen, will have artwork in it. This was all done in conjunction with Council for Arts, Art for Transit, Art for Transit. And it's going to be quite interesting when we get it done. And Joe's going to go up here and talk about community outreach.
Thank you very much. My name is, again, Joe O'Donnell. I'm the Director of Community Outreach for the 2nd Avenue Subway Project. I oversee the liaisons who will work hand in hand with you guys day in and day out in the community and hopefully serve as a bridge to the MTA and to the contractors. One of the most difficult challenges of this project is working in the densest population in the U.S. The Upper East Side, there are over 211 census tracts with 100,000 residents per square mile. Only 3 other census tracts share this density in the U.S. That's Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Boston. There are 3 other tracts which happen to be prisons, where the density is similar to what we experience there. That's San Quentin, Maryland Penitentiary, and Trenton State Prison. Along with the construction work comes some complications, and there are physical mitigations to these impacts on the community. We try to provide clean and well-organized work zones. We incorporated the muck house systems, which was a first, and a lot of those have come down, as Tom had mentioned. We still have one between 86th and 87th Street. Those muck houses basically allowed for the materials to be brought up from below, compartmentalizing any dust and noise and odor, containing it so that it was less of an impact to the community. The 86th Street muck station is set to come down little by little over the summer. It will be going when that heavy civil contractor wraps up work in December, and that'll be the last of those big structures to come down. Clean work sites is something that we strive for. As part of the community outreach program, we work hand in hand with the Good Neighbor Initiative, or the GNI Initiative, as a lot of you know it. Good Neighbor Initiative is concerned with the pedestrian experience in and around the Upper East Side as it relates to our work zones and our work environment. So we've put these wayfinding signs up in many blocks to give you a sense of what the locations are, retail locations, eateries, and service points along the project. We update this information quarterly to make sure that it is accurate. We'll be doing another round of those updates to make sure that we have everybody on those wayfinding signs so that people know where to go and can help frequent the businesses along 2nd Avenue. This is an example of what that muck house enclosure looked like. There's a scrubber there on the side which helped to filter the air before it came up out of the station, as well as the air going down to the workers below. That is the exhaust duct for the scrubber, which again clean the air, help keep down dust. Part of our outreach program, we've enhanced our community outreach program. For the longest time, when this project first started, Claudia Wilson, the 86th Street Station Area Rep, was the entire community outreach program. As the project expanded and we made a more concerted effort to be able to have a physical presence in each of the station areas, we brought on more liaisons, and that's why we have Dennis and Lisa and myself. The liaisons conduct construction advisory committees on a quarterly basis. Construction advisory committees are not open to the public. They're closed meetings, but they are for stakeholders in the community, businesses, board reps, folks, if you got tenant associations and block committees and things of that nature, folks who have a larger audience, so that we can share our messaging with them and then they can turn around and share with their constituents. We also hold quarterly public workshops, which are just that, open to the public. Our next public workshop will be June 11th, and that will be an Ask the Expert session. At that meeting, we bring all of our agency partners like DOT, DSNY, NYPD, FDNY, Department of Health, to answer your questions in real time so that we don't have to scramble around and try to find answers for you. We'll have the experts right there to answer your questions. In addition to the liaisons, we do an email notification for any events. There was blast notifications that were going out regularly, street closures, and then monthly newsletters which give you a project update and upcoming announcements for things going on along the project. And then last but not least, we have our Community Information Center down between 84th and 85th Street on the east side. The Community Information Center serves two purposes. It is a community resource for folks to come in and speak to a liaison in real time, get answers to your questions or lodge a complaint if you should have one. But it's also an education center where we have rotating exhibits. We currently have our first exhibit in there, which is the history of the 2nd Avenue subway line, going all the way back to 1929 and detailing all the fits and starts of the project to present day. Our next exhibit, which we hope to have installed by the end of May, will feature construction techniques and talk about why we are doing what we're doing along 2nd Avenue and how the construction practice, our techniques have varied from station area to station area. This is an example of one of our workshops. We just had a public workshop in March, and we had over 50 people attend to talk about issues and concerns that they would like to see us have addressed. This is our Community Information Center, again on the east side. We are open Monday through Friday, and we are open the 2nd Saturday of every month. We have community tours that we bring down to public. One Saturday a month, we bring down 2 groups, one at 8:30 in the morning, one at 10:30 in the morning. We bring 35 people down at a time, along with our project personnel, to give folks an idea of what's going on below their feet. To date, we have brought down over 1,200 people. Last year, at the end of the year, we did a survey of all those, of over 1,000 people who have attended our tours, and 94% said that they will be more understanding of the stuff that they're dealing with on the surface level, the complications that they have to deal with day in and day out, now that they see the size and magnitude of exactly what is going on down below. And with that, I will turn it back over to Councilman Kalos.
Thank you very much to the MTA. And do you have any tours coming up for?
We do, May 17th. There'll be a notice going out shortly, or has it gone out? It went out.
Yeah.
So if anyone lives along 2nd Avenue and would like to go down and see what all this trouble has been about, you'll get to, it'll put things into perspective. I got to do the tour and it was pretty amazing. So I'm now going to ask DOT and NYPD to come up, and then after that we'll take some questions and then we'll start the walk. So if the Deputy Commissioner can please join us, and thank you. NYPD afterwards.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nina Heyman. I'm the Deputy Borough Commissioner for DOT. And DOT is obviously responsible for the streets all over the city. And the council member asked us to come here tonight to talk about street lighting. So I would just say that we have street lighting standards that we have to meet on all city streets, all 6,000 miles. And we work with our partners at construction sites to make sure that we maintain them in the construction zones as well. So in this particular location, we're working very closely with MTA to make sure our lighting standards are met. And with me today, I have Alex Engelstein, who's an electrical inspector with DOT in our street lighting division, and Alex Boole, same thing, electrical inspector. So we'll be joining us on the walkthrough. If you have particular questions or locations you're worried about, these are the experts. So that's it actually for me.
Good. Yeah, how would you bring it back up? 1180, there's 20 now.
I was fast.
My name is Captain Ted Federoff. I'm the executive officer for the 19th Precinct. I'm actually relatively newly assigned. I'm down from the 23rd Precinct. I'm quickly getting caught up to speed on the 2nd Avenue subway construction. We have been closely monitoring, 2nd Avenue subway, 2nd Avenue crime conditions. I know some of you in this room may have specific points you want PD to address or may bring up on the walkthrough. I'm certainly here to take it all in and make sure it gets routed to the correct units in the 19th Precinct. Overall, the command is down for the 28-day, week period in crime. I always have to throw that out just to give a frame of reference from where we are. I know that there's been some specific concerns along the route, and I'll certainly do my best to either give an answer or get the information back out to you. I also want to say that 2nd Avenue, being a major vehicular thoroughfare, is also always on our radar for traffic. I know that the 2nd Avenue subway and traffic may go a little bit hand in hand, but I do want to say the week of May 12th, and getting a little public service out here. The command's going to be participating in the mayor's campaign. We're going to be doing a Vision Zero outreach, and it will affect some areas of 2nd Avenue, so you may see us out there with a big educational blitz on traffic safety, which I think will tie in with some of the construction, with construction going on 2nd Avenue. So I'm happy to make everyone's acquaintance. I'm glad to be in the 19th. I'm sure you're going to see more of me. I work mostly at night. The second in command usually works the rougher hours. But I do have a chance to be out in the street at the late hours that may be of concern. So I think that's helpful to this group and to this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Captain.
So I'm going to ask DOT, NYPD, and MTA to come up and we'll take any questions. I'm hoping folks came with some questions. Does anyone have questions? Yes.
I had more of a health-related question as opposed to a safety one. It was mainly related to the air quality. Is the Department of Health monitoring the air quality in this area relative to before construction starting to now?
I'm going to turn that over to MTA regarding air. So the question was, is the Department of Health monitoring air quality conditions during construction, both before construction and after? Is that correct?
Or DEP or some
Anybody.
Who is monitoring the air quality? So
We
if you don't mind taking so everyone can hear. Thank you.
So we do monitoring before construction, during construction. We have gone through a very extensive monitoring study for several months during blasting, where we have deployed not only the EPA, but independent consultant who has done a peer study on the results that were given to us, and there was no health issue as a result of the construction noted. We continue to monitor. We have what is called a CAMP, which is a community air monitoring program that is based on the thresholds as set by the EPA. So we work very closely with the EPA, and we have had EPA on site during the time of the most invasive operations such as the blasting. We deployed wet scrubbers on 86th Street, where it was a totally innovative new technique that was never used for this type of construction. And EPA was absolutely amazed at the results because we truly complied with the most stringent of requirements. We do have exceedances. However, these exceedances are dust-based, okay? They are not really long-lasting, they diffuse themselves, they do not affect anybody's health. This is something that we have spoken to the public before. If you want to see, we have a full air monitoring study on our website. You can go look at it. We also post twice a week we post what we call a PM10 study for the entire alignment. So I urge you to go onto the MTA website, take a look, and you will see going back down. I think we're doing it for over a year and a half now, so you can see what the results are. So hopefully that answered your question.
So you're saying all the results are on MTA's website?
Yeah.
So we're all gonna use the mic so everyone in back can hear. If the lady in blue could ask her question. You can come up and use the mic, or we can repeat your question.
I understand that the northeast corner of 93rd Street and 2nd Avenue is going to house the ventilators for the subway system, is that correct?
And so
Sorry. The question is 93rd Street, northeast corner, whether or not that will be 93rd Street and 2nd Avenue, whether or not that will be
House the ventilators, which is supposed to be 4 stories high.
whether or not that will be housing 4-story high ventilators.
And if so, I have a question.
Well, yes, it will. For every station, there are 2, what we call ancillary structures, one at the north end and one at the south end. And they house the ventilation and power and emergency access and things like that.
Okay, and will these generators or ventilators generate noise, or is it going to be somehow enclosed so that does not disturb the neighborhood?
The entire structure is enclosed, and
soundproof?
if in the environmental impact statement, these structures were addressed and studies were done on the noise levels that were going to be admitted, and that's all available if you it's on our website, right? Yeah, on the website, the environmental impact statements are there, and you can look up exactly the ancillary structures, any one of them, and see what it says about the structures and the predicted results.
That will tell me the amount of noise that these ventilators are going to generate.
That's my understanding.
If you want to, so I think there's 2 items. One, if she stops by the information center, will you guys be able to provide her with those exact figures? So that's a yes, you can stop by. Second, if you don't feel like stopping by, you can call our office. It's 212-860-1950, and we can help facilitate the conversation.
Okay.
Thank you. All the way in back?
I got 2 questions. First question is the current situation. I noticed on 2nd Avenue, especially in the morning, where deliveries are made, and there's so many trucks that go parked. And across the street are the MTA barricades on the work sites. When you have to cross the street, sometimes it's very difficult, because a lot of these trucks are parked close to the edges of the end of the sidewalks to make their deliveries. I don't see much being done about that. And this is the summertime. And in the winter, it's more perilous because we have snow and ice all over 2nd Avenue.
What street?
Well, a lot of streets, I would say 92nd Street, all the way down to 96th Street.
So the question is on 2nd Avenue from 92nd to 96th, there are a number of trucks double parked
Trucks and cars.
and cars double parked where they shouldn't be. And so I will turn it over to the DOT to tell you about what they can do and what we can do with them to fix that problem, and also the NYPD, who will be very interested about what times they can send people to earn the city income for traffic enforcement.
So DOT has control of the parking regulations on every block. So I've made a note of those locations. I don't know the regulations on them offhand. I'm not sure if Joe does. But we can take a look at whether it makes sense to have commercial loading zones on those blocks at the right time of day. And our guys can go out there and do inspections to see what times make sense. But for enforcement, I would defer to PD.
I had another two-part question. And the second question is, on the subway entrances, I assume they're going to be 24 hours.
Pain in the ass.
The subway's going to run 24 hours a day. Is that correct?
The question is whether or not the subways will run 24 hours a day.
We hope so.
Barring superstorms.
Well, my question is that at the later hours, when the bars and the nightclubs along Second Avenue exit, and I hit the road at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's going to be people heading to these subways. I hope the lighting at that time is much more improved than what it is now. But however, I would like to see more enforcement out there in the early mornings because of the fact that there's going to be more people that's going to be brought to this area via the subways.
Thank you very much. And so the comment was that when the subway is here and it is running 24 hours and there are people here visiting our establishments at night, that there's enforcement. And actually, there were 2 enforcement points brought up, one about late night enforcement of people visiting our bars, and the other is cars double parked on 2nd Avenue between 92nd and 96th. So if I can just let the police answer that question, those questions.
We could easily take a look at the 92nd to 96th Street double parking problem. I know I'm new. I'm sure if it is an issue, it's not a new issue. You know, now that I'm there, we'll certainly take a look at it. DOT will look at it from a traffic regulation standpoint, and we'll take a look at it from an intelligence standpoint. Is there something we can do on top of enforcement and also have a police department community outreach? If there's some people we could speak to. But 92nd to 96 regarding specifically trucks double parked and other cars are just general double parking in that area. Am I correct on that? 92 to 96?
Well, as far as I know.
Okay. I'm sure that there's a lot of other double parking. Okay. Regarding subway, now we're talking about the subway starts running and extra travel in the late hours?
That's correct.
All right, well, late hour travel is always a concern whether there's a subway or not. When the subways are up and running at hopefully the targeted time, subways are patrolled by the New York City Police Department in conjunction with the 19th Precinct, which has the PD jurisdiction above the subway. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of collaboration and a lot of collaboration with any new transit district or the transit district that'll ultimately have the subway. The Transit Bureau of the NYPD are the uniformed officers that do patrol the subways now. I can't speak for what's going to happen in December 2016, but I imagine, a transit district will be assigned these new lines and these new stations, and the environment that's at all hours will be monitored and patrolled correctly.
I noticed there's a lot of noise that emanates from these cars at night, especially on the weekend.
Right, and you're concerned with the with the subway bringing more people and concentrating people at subway entrances. The police department, in conjunction with its, the 19th, in conjunction with its transit partner, will have to, take a close look at that. I mean, I mean, we're talking about something future, but, I mean, it's not that far off. I do understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
PD question?